Alright y'all, so I've been doing this for just under a year now, and in my first ever video back in July 2015 I talked about my musical inspirations, and all I did really was just list a few names and a few genres, and I was just being vague as hell. So today I thought that I would give you guys my top 10 favourite artists and musicians from me to you, so you can really understand who my true musical inspirations are. In at number 10 is the one and only king of controversy, Kanye West. Pros and cons of Kanye West. The pros are, he makes sick beats, he writes sick lyrics, and he writes amazing songs on awesome albums. And I also love how he is never afraid to speak out about what he believes in, and I just think that everyone should have that kind of mentality in them. The only con with Kanye West is that obviously he creates a lot of controversy, not just within his fan base, but also within the whole world. But I am a big believer in free speech, and that is exactly what he does, so good on the man. In at number 9, we have Drake. Now, musically, as an artist, Drake does pretty much everything that Kanye West does. He makes sick beats, writes sick lyrics on sick albums. But there is one thing that he does that Kanye West doesn't, which has made me put him up a step, which is that he sings as well. He might sound a little bit monotone when he does, but when he does, it's that combination between singing and the rapping amongst those beats. It just makes it sound genius. Like, I've never heard anything like some of Drake's music, and I think it's just legendary the way he compiles all this stuff together. Now at number 8 we have Sam Smith. Now, in fairness, Sam Smith has been going for the least amount of time so far within my top 10, so he hasn't really released as much music as any of the other artists, which has basically given me less material to base him on. But after what I can base him on, it's just beautiful. I mean, his highs and his lows just come together so well, and he has so much control over his voice. Being perfectly honest, the only con with Sam Smith's music is that a lot of his songs sound exactly the same on the album, because 9 out of 10 of them are all on piano and a single voice. So it does kind of feel like I'm listening to the same sort of thing over and over again. But apart from that, Sam Smith has one of the most awesome voices so far in my top 10. And to be perfectly honest, I think it's lack of material that has made me put him so far down in this list. And if he had more albums, I think he'd be a lot higher up on my list. But for that reason, I just had to put him on number 8. Now, number 7, we have the one and only Jessie J, who I have seen live. Unfortunately, I can't find any of my photos and videos that I took on my old phone when I did see her live, but that gig was insane. Like, it was ridiculous. Her voice is so powerful, and it can go so low and also so high, and when she belts out those big notes in her power ballads, man, like, you have heard some crazy stuff right there. And I think the only reason why I did put her down so low on my list is because I didn't like her album Sweet Talker, but I love the first 2 albums, Who You Are and Alive. And to be honest, the other thing that I love about her is that she uses a lot of real instruments. Like, she isn't really a fan of synths. Like, obviously she does use them, just not as much as some other artists on my list. Plus, she uses no auto-tune whatsoever. Everything you hear on her albums is 100% her own voice. I know that because I've heard it live, and on both the studio versions and live versions, all her music just sounds banging, so yeah. And it is at this point, boys and girls, that the camera battery dies. And it is also much later in the day, so apologies in advance if the lighting has drastically changed. With all of that shizzle cleared up, let's get on with the rest of the top 10. And in at number 6 is the one band that I've been extremely late to the party for, which is Pentatonix. Now, I first learned of Pentatonix at the beginning of 2016, and on the 26th of May, I saw them live at the O2 Academy in Brixton. Like, they are a band that I've known for such little time, but their originality is beyond the scale. I mean, for one, they play no instruments, so everything you hear is voices. You have 3 vocalists, what I call a vocal bassist, and the beatboxer, and they complement each other so well, and when you hear them live, the bass in RV's voice goes right in your chest, like it's like a human synthesizer, and on those speakers it sounds like a dubstep bass. It sounds so cool, and their original songs are great as well. I've listened to their EPs, their album. They're really not double Grammy winners for nothing. Like, they are just insane, and I would love to see them live again, because man, their skills and their stage presence are the one to watch out for. They are definitely by far the most underrated group, not only in my top 10 list, but in current music history. In at number 5 is one incredibly sexy man who I've heard of and loved ever since I was like 4 or 5 years old, Justin Timberlake. Cut a long story short, his Justified album was one of the first albums I ever bought, and even to this day it is one of my favourite albums of all time. Not massively keen on his Love Stone period, but his 2020 experience period onwards were legendary. I just love how each one of his songs is so goddamn catchy and it sticks in your head, even from songs like Rock Your Body, Cry Me a River, etc. Even with songs like NSYNC, even now with Can't Stop the Feeling, it's dominating the charts. His whole kind of auto-tuned sexy back type period wasn't exactly the best, but I will admit he has one of the most powerful male vocal ranges I've ever heard. His lows and his highs are just the one to watch out for. Every time Justin Timberlake comes on at a party or a club, I'm dancing along to it. He is fun, his songs are catchy, his lyrics are great. His songs in the 2020 experience period are a little bit long, borderlining on 8 minutes each, but I can kind of live with that. The key changes are smooth and sharp and sick, so that I don't get bored when I'm listening to them, and pretty much every single one of his songs is a winner, which is why he's number 5 on my list. And in at number 4, when we're really starting to bring out the big guns, is the Ginger Ninja, Ed Sheeran. Alright, fair enough, he is a newer artist, so there's not as much music to judge compared to people like Timberlake, but from what I hear, it's beautiful. The way he writes his lyrics, he weaves so much complication, but at the same time so much emotion into his lyrics, accompanied by either strong chord strumming or really complicated finger picking skills. His guitar and his lyrics come together are insane. His rapping is insane, his lyrics are insane. When he sings, he goes low and high in certain songs. His X album will probably be one of my favourite albums when I'm 70 years old. Like, it is that good. Also, I just want to throw something out there, that this is the first artist in this entire top 10 list who I cannot fault. So you can really show that I'm really starting to bring out the big guns. In at number 3, the one person who you would probably think would be my number 1, but unfortunately isn't, which is the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Every single Michael Jackson era is just incredible, even from Jackson 5-stroke Motown era to his early solo career like an Off the Wall, from Thriller to Bad, Dangerous, Invincible. Like, all those eras, even the Escape era is just insane because it brings something new. Every era and every decade that Michael Jackson has brought music out in, he offers something new. And by offering something new amongst every era, he rakes in thousands of fans, and with thousands of fans comes millions of pounds. Obviously he can't use them now, but if he could use them now, I personally believe that a lot of it would have gone to charity. And that is another thing as well. He seemed like such a humble, down-to-earth person as well, and he was always willing to give to a charity that he believed in, and he always tried to help others before himself, and that is one thing that I really do admire about Michael Jackson. I also love his incredible dance moves that he might not have invented, but he made them popular. And the way he danced those moves, accompanied with his singing ability, is just insane. In at number 2, one of my childhood idols, and the first childhood idol of mine on my top 10 list, is the one and only Prince of UK pop, Robbie Williams. Now, a lot of people in this day and age do believe that Robbie Williams is one of the biggest idiots going. I disagree 100%. When I was like 5 years old, Rock DJ was one of my favourite songs ever, and I would just play it and play it and play it on repeat, and like whenever I did karaoke nights as a kid, I would always do a Robbie Williams song. His voice is so powerful. Like when I was a kid, I was just astounded by what he could do when he sung. He did pop songs, rock songs, fast songs, slow songs. He did pretty much every kind of song going. And not to mention, he also does swing music, which not only bring a new audience to his music, he also made swing music popular again, like with what Michael Bublé did, but Robbie Williams just did it better. I've had so many childhood memories with Robbie Williams, and although at times he can be seen as quite obnoxious, I believe that he is one of the greatest things music has had in the UK. And in at number 1, my favourite musician of all time, I think you all know who it is, and I know you're itching for me to say it, so I will say it. My favourite musician of all time at number 1 is Eminem. He personalised my music as a small underground artist. Every single album Eminem has ever brought out, I have listened to, and every single album that Eminem has ever brought out is a winner. And if I had to choose my favourite Eminem album, I honestly don't think I could. The way he brings his message across in his lyrics, in also a very complicated way, albeit it is one of the strangest things, but he basically pioneered that part of rap music, I think. And I do believe in certain songs, you've got to really analyse the lyrics to really understand what he is getting at. But when you do, you will realise how much of a genuine person he is. And I really do feel sorry for him in all of his past experiences with Kim, his drug addiction, and every other bad thing that has happened to him in his past. He talks about it all in his music, and it really is emotional to listen to in certain songs. But when I write my songs, I often think, how can I write my songs in roughly a similar sort of way to what Eminem writes his songs? You do get some muck around, funny, cheap and cheerful type songs, but 90% of his music is deep and emotional, very depressing, but I love it to bits. And he has influenced me in my own music so much that I just could not have anyone at number 1 at the top of my list other than the king of rap, Eminem. So after all of that, I really do hope that I have given you boys and girls a bit more of an insight into my favourite artists, musicians and influences into my music. But I have noticed that in this top 10, there are no rock bands. Aside from my obvious roots of chart music, rap, R&B and hip hop, my second favourite genre of music is rock music. So if this video gets enough thumbs up, I will also do my top 10 favourite rock bands. And my channel and playlists are in the usual place now, so go and give them a click. All of my social media links are in that description below. Give this video a like and give my channel a subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and I shall see you all next week. My name is Raver, peace out and stay awesome.